I'm so good. How are you?
I'm very blessed.
Amen. Me too.
So thank you for doing this. This really invaluable to me. I don't take that lightly. So thank you. So stay-at-home mom. My husband really wants to be actively involved in this, but he has like 3 jobs. So he's a little busy. What we really want to do is succeed in REI. I mean, that's what we want to do. Obviously, we're going to start with wholesaling. We'd love to start fixing and flipping and buying. And, we're feeling the growing pains of really just starting, to be really honest with you. So I watched the Privy video that Dan did. You know the backstory probably for most of that. And so I was like, okay, I studied that video. I did every single thing. I've sent out a few thousand emails so far. Been getting all kinds of responses, not all positive, but you grow thick skin and you're just like, listen, what matters is the positive responses. Yeah. And so this is just frustrating because I've had to cancel in total probably 7 or 8 contracts.
Okay.
I don't mind renegotiating. I don't mind having those conversations. And I'm starting to really discover where my zone of genius is. So my zone is acquisitions. Love acquisitions. Dispo, I can totally do it if I have the tools, if I have the knowledge and the wisdom. I know I can do it. But what do I enjoy? I enjoy finding and bringing it in. And I want to pass it off and let somebody else finish it. And I want to do what I love to do.
What's me?
That's you. That's great.
We're right here. We're tracking.
But I'm also aware that I still, I don't have anybody to pass it to, really. And so you got to get there, right? I really suck at comping. I'm aware of that. I'll tell you, that's a big, huge flaw for me. I don't mind doing it if I have the tools and I don't feel equipped enough to properly comp. And that is the reason why I've lost all these deals, because you have to know what a deal looks like. And so what I thought was a deal, I'm sending to these dispo partners and they're like, that's not it. I reworked Dan's situation. I got a text and I was looking through it talking over it with my husband last night. And he was like, Anjuli, that just doesn't make sense. I don't understand why you would do 60% of, that's not even the ARV. So one of the dispo people that I've been working with, sent me this text. He was gracious enough to send me this text. So, because I am not good at comping. So he said, I was doing price per square foot and all this stuff that was very complex and just too much. He said, here's a stupid fast cheat code that helps in major markets, which is what I'm working in, major markets. Find the Zestimate on Zillow of the house, multiply it by 0.6, then subtract 10K to tell you what your offer price is. That is really taking a lot of people off. I just sent out 500 emails yesterday, no takers.
Yeah, so that would be like just straight back of the napkin math. So first thing is we actually have on our YouTube 2, and we like to do this. We like to put, processes and systems up against each other. And we say, here's how to do them. You guys, it's a Chevy versus Ford thing. So your preference, go ahead, here's what they are. You guys get to pick what you want. The way I do my Privy on market offers is different than the way Dan has outlined. And Dan's is great for getting a large volume out, but what you're running into is exactly the reason why I don't do it that way. And I actually go step by step in my process. It's much more involved in Privy. You can get through roughly the same amount of properties, probably a little less because you're spending a little more time on them, but you're able to get down to properties that you're actually close on quicker. It's in a more efficient way. So first thing, I'll show you real quick. So I'm going to go through the Privy process. I'm going to go through what comping looks like in that. And then I actually have a call I have to make to renegotiate an on-market offer that I can make with you live so you can hear it. So I can get stuff I need done too, and it's going to work out for everybody.
That's great. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. So let me get into...
While you're doing that, I'm going to give you a little something else that I was doing. I've been using a VA to find addresses, phone numbers, and emails of these agents because I've been doing agent outreach for these properties. Whenever you talk about it, will you let me know if that's something that you've been doing or how to efficiently do what you're doing?
I'm gonna show you right now. Yeah, that's perfect. What market are you in?
Great question. I was doing nationwide. I'm going to focus Kansas City, LA is where I am, Denver, Colorado Springs, and Nashville.
Let's go with Kansas City because I'm not here for that. Okay.
That's great.
The step, so just so you have a high level view, is searches, which is what we're doing now, lists, and then out of those lists, there's going to be a workflow for each individual list, and then that goes into offers. So that's basically it. So we're going to build our search. So the only thing that I'm searching for right now is single family. I don't want any attached stuff, condos or multifamily. I typically stay around the 60% mark of ARV for the fix and flip. And then what I do is I categorize them in a up to like 60-day mark and a 60 plus. My days on market, I'm going to put as a high as 59. This is going to silo the searches. And then I'm going to do just all so we can get everything. Okay, so I'm going to run this search. Okay, here we go. Per Privy's algorithm, now I have 67 properties in Kansas City. And obviously, if you're doing like other parts, like you include those as well, and you can build those out too, but I'll show you what I mean here in a second. So next step is I go to my list. This is all on the YouTube. Like I may be rushing through it. So, but don't think that you won't be able to like go back because it's on there. So I'm going to save these properties now into a list, and that houses them. So I'm going to add a new one. This is going to be Kansas City, 1 to 59 days. Okay, I'm going to drop all those properties into that list. I'm going to save the search the same name that I saved it for the list. Now, why you need to save the search is because it's going to give you email updates. So I'm going to select the folder. I'm going to tell it to update me in my email every day for any property that meets the filter criteria that I set, which is we know is 1 through 59 days on market, 60% ARV. So that's it. So the search is saved. So I'll get email updates, and my list of active properties right now is in my list. Okay. Now what I'm going to do a second search, and it's going to be anything over 60. So low is going to be 60. Again, I'll save this, and there's 37 properties that meet that. I'm going to drop these in, adding a new list, same thing, same name. Now I've got my lists created here. Okay. So now what I'm going to be doing when I initially pull these, my number one goal is for these to be 0. Okay, this is where the comping starts. So this is what we call our soft comp. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and why I think you were probably having so many out of range, is because of this part right here. So you see that already we're backwards from Dan's process. We're looking at the properties first to determine the list that we're going to offer on before we even create an offer. So this is where the efficiency comes in, because this part of the process, you're going as quick as you can. As I'm going through this list, we'll do them now. So usually 2 means either the inside's really bad or it's tenant occupied. It doesn't look great, right? There's something going on with this property, and it's for 70. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, in my soft comp, right? This is my quick comp. I'm going to say 70,000 is the list, and I'm going to take off 20,000 as my discount. That puts my offer price at 50 and means that at 50% of ARV, my comps need to be at 100 grand. So then I'm going to go back and just really quickly say, okay, 3 ones under 1,000. Okay, perfect. These are both under 1,000. This one's still active, so I'm not going to really, I'll take it with a grain of salt, but it hasn't sold yet. This one sold this month or last month. It was a 3-1 that got converted to a 3-2. Looks like a little work was done to it. Okay. And then we'll go to public records and we'll see that this is being sold by an LLC. So a couple things here that we're doing. Obviously, this is over our ARV, right? We're looking for 100. So we're at 135, possibly as high as 150, but we're not going to anchor there. So all I'm going to do now is put in my notes, 50K offer, 135K ARV. So that when I go back later and do my more in-depth, I know kind of what I was thinking at this time. We're going to drop this out of comp or out of the days on market, and we're going to put it in the comp folder. Save, and then we're moving on because that we took it out of this list. If it doesn't meet the criteria, we're just failing it immediately. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're looking for, flooring, updated cabinets, like recessed lighting, paint, obviously. Flooring's been done, stainless steel appliances. This one's already had some work put into it. It's not like a really, awesome flip. But here's another thing you can do. While you're finding deals, we're also finding buyers.
Right.
So we have a buyer here. What we're going to do is take this out of the days on market list, and we're going to put this into buyers to contact. So now we're going to put this property into buyers to contact, and we took it out of the days on market, so we're not looking at it again, and we're moving on. So why it's important to do both is obviously you don't have a lot of time. We need efficiency to be number one. You could, if you wanted, if there is a LLC here, you can compile that list of properties that have been flipped, and you know these are fix and flip buyers. You can do the work to get that list skip traced to go directly to the LLC, or you can just go directly to the listing agent because they're already working with this person.
And what is your conversation with the listing agent? Hey, can you give me their information?
Typically, they won't be open to doing that. And so this is kind of the quicker way to get to a buyer. And that agent may have more than one investor. Typically, they do that they work with. So I would just call Dave and I would say, hey, Dave, what's going on? Brad here. I'm an investor out of, San Diego. I do investments in other markets, including Kansas City. I actually have a property very near to the listing that you had done on 3816 Park Avenue. What I'm actually looking to do is I don't have a team out there that I've vetted. I don't have any contractors in that area. So I'm not going to be taking this one down, but I'd be curious to know if the fixing flipper that you worked with on this is still actively buying deals in this area, if they meet the same criteria that this property. You're creating a relationship with the agent because what are you doing for them? You're able to take that deal on a silver platter to their fix and flipper. And what they get out of it is they're going to be able to relist it. Once it's renovated, the value's up. And in 2 to 3 months, when they're done with the renovation, they got another listing. So everybody's feeding everybody in this situation.
Yeah.
Let's say I go through all these, right? I go through these are all empty. And now I've got a bunch of my properties in my comp folder that I am ready to now do more in-depth analysis, right? So now what I'm going to do, we're going to switch over to the deal analyzer, and I'm going to plug in this information. So it's 836 is the square footage, and we're working with 135K ARV. Okay, and I'm going to set this at 70%. Now, why did I have this one set at 50 and the other one at 70? Because in this equation here, this is purely to get through that massive list really quickly for back of the napkin math. I'm not going to use this to put my offer out. I'm going to use it to get really close on properties that need a value add. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I'm going to come down a little bit on my percentage of ARV so that I'm kind of accounting for my repairs in that offer. What you're looking at is a percentage of ARV minus repairs. So I can plug in, I want 10K on this, $135,000. I may just want 5 for the wholesale. That's going to be up to you. It's up to you to know what your buyer's price per square foot rehab cost is for a light, moderate, full gut. And we tell you too, okay, what's involved with a light? What's involved in moderate? And then that way you can set those values. Okay, we'll just say it's, let's look at this one. Do you know what your buyers in Kansas City rehab cost is per square foot?
No, I don't. I've never asked that question.
Okay, that would be a good conversation to have, with them. We'll just set it at $30 a square foot. It's kind of a lower end rehab, but just so you can kind of see the example. With no other considerations here, no roof, windows, electrical, any of this stuff being an issue, just a cosmetic, we're looking at $25,000. So here are your offers. Your initial offer, your counter, and your max allowable. And then here's what you'd be dispoing at.
Okay.
Right, to get this wholesale. So let's look and see what that lined up at. 65, we're lower than that. That's good. Actually, our initial is 61. Here's where you need to kind of play with the numbers a little bit because the numbers can pencil out at 65, but can you dispo a listed property for this price, a 70K? We're at the listed point.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm going to stick at this number here because I know I'm good. That number counts for anything else that's not cosmetic, and I have enough room to assign it for at least 5K. You see why?
Because you did 50% initially.
Yeah, exactly. So this one we're able to dial in on because my initial underwrite on the soft comp was a lower ARV. So that'll dial in the amount of offers that you have. Again, the balance is getting to a number that is competitive, but also allows an assignment.
Right.
There's the balance. So in this case, we need a little more than it be 65,000 for us to, even though the numbers pencil out, we still need our assignment.
So for somebody like myself who would not be displaying this by myself, I'd be JVing this. It would make more sense for me to try to get at least 10 if I want to bring home 5, right? So this is not something that would work unless I went down another 5,000 in price. So I would probably offer 45. Is that right?
I mean, it's all going to be up to you on what you're willing to, like your margin. So yeah, I mean, go at a lower price. Yeah, it's harder with the lower, also to like lower value properties because there's not a lot of wiggle room anyway, So maybe on this one, you only aim for 2,500 and you get you 5,000 total. You split at 2,500. Typically, we're looking for at least a 5K.
Yep.
Start at 45, get a response. Does the seller have a counter? Like, where is that going to be at? And that does give you a little more room to work with.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm looking at that property. Obviously, we don't have pictures or anything inside, but I'm thinking that doesn't look like a lipstick to me. It looks like we got some stuff to do in there. And so I'm wondering, like, what if you find out, dude, that there's a lot more work than we thought, then you just don't have a good deal. Like, that's not a deal.
And that's where leveraging whoever you have as buyers, boots on the ground, for the renegotiation part, right? You actually have a lot more leverage if you have somebody actually go out to the property because they can take pictures, they can give you more feedback on the actual condition, and the agent knows that you've been out there. So now you're not just trying to get a deal, right? You're not just trying to lower the price. You have actionable intelligence of why you need to be low. Again, that's why knowing this number is so important too. We just don't know the condition on the inside, and it doesn't really give us a good indication in here. Okay, well, roof's new. There we go. 2-year-old electrical and plumbing, so that's all good. Permits are pulled, sewer lines been maintained, under warranty. This one's actually being sold as a package with 3 other properties, so we need to see those. So yeah,
that's always a little intimidating for me.
Okay.
the packages. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Let's stick with one. But you see how we're getting to our offer, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So you may have been giving offers that were not accounting for a repair budget.
The last property that I had to cancel the contract, I'll tell you what they said. I did take into account like the amount of work that I thought was needed. And so essentially they said, the submission of this property shows this is a contract price, repairs of $70K and an ARV of $149. This means the buyer's purchasing and asking repairs are at 100% of the ARV. So my numbers were way off.
Yeah, you just weren't accounting for the repair budget and the profit and your assignment and the realtor commissions and the cost of their financing and like all that stuff. Do you have our on-market offer system, the thing I just showed you?
I do.
Okay.
I have it. I just got it maybe a few weeks ago and I haven't had time to like really dive into it, but I don't have a choice now because the calculator that I was using, it was an MAO calculator and that's just not working for me with square footage, and it was just a little different from this calculator, this system. So I'm going to go back through and watch the videos to really learn and do a more in-depth study of it.
Watch live videos, and I break every step down all the way out to sending out the offers through Mail Meteor.
And that's what I've been doing using Mail Meteor.
So good news is you are doing the work. You just need to refine the process. I feel very confident if you start using the process I've outlined, you'll be able to capture better deals, and a follow-up on those will be key because most of the deals that we get are actually deals that fell out of a pending status. I have my pending lists as well. So I'm going to go through and say, okay, it's yellow, still pending. Here's one that's not pending anymore. So now what I'm going to do, it's been listed for almost 60 days. Now I'm going to take this address that he never responded, and I'm just going to reach out.
So you probably don't get the emails saying this offer's way too low. Like, no, don't come at me.
Oh, I get those. I've had agents just send me back LOL. I've had agents just send me back emojis, like laughing face emojis. Yeah, I get those too. Oh yeah. But this is a way to like recapture these.
It was a property. I have a pending folder and I do go back and check them. There was a property out here in LA. This was the biggest heartbreaker for me because I really wanted to work with this agent and she really wanted to work with me. She was just like, tell me what your price is. I will tell her to accept this because it was a probate. They were ready to get rid of it and had it under contract, had to cancel, had to terminate it, and was really frustrated because my comps were off. I thought the property that the comps were 1.1 in the area, and my dispo partner took a closer look, I guess, and was like, I'm still like really frustrated about it because it doesn't all completely make sense to me. Because I'm like, I found this and I thought that this was going to hold up, but it didn't to them. So we had to cancel.
So first things first, make sure you're selecting this sold so that you see the newest ones first.
Right.
Okay.
So when you have that conversation with the buyer, how far are you willing to go? Are you saying, hey, I have another property. How much are you willing to pay for another 3.2? Is that the language that you're using, or are you pretty vague, or how are you handling it?
I need them to be on my side. And so I'm going to tell them exactly what I'm doing. I have a property under contract now that I'd like to assign. I see we're working with some type of fix and flip buyer. Looks like the name of the company's FA in Newgum. On 21 West 50th. I have a property very similar to this property that needs some work. And I just wanted to know, are they still doing deals? If we could serve them up another deal just like this one on a silver platter, are they open to buy? And then kind of move forward. And so, yes, I like them. We'll work together on property access because a lot of times the buyer will want to get out there to inspect. So I'm like, let me know a good day and time for you guys to go out there together to take a look at it. I'll get that set up with the seller. Just tell me where you guys need to be. So I'm looking at this one and like the pictures here, like aren't there? Yep. I went to the listing here and this number is different than this number.
Yeah.
So a lot of times what will happen is because they're going through public records, it's like a portfolio sale. And so this got lumped in with one or two more properties.
Yeah.
So take that one.
That's good to know.
Yeah, always, especially if it doesn't picture, we don't know what kind of like condition.
Right.
Yeah, 3-1-625. Okay. So here's another good indication of kind of like what buyers are buying at. I reach out to this guy because this is going to be a flip. What do you have under contract, or what did you have under contract at?
I'll tell you right now. My initial email offer was $595, but then she told me that there were some tenant issues, so I went down. I went down to $4. I went down to $4. I'm sorry, $5. I think it was like $520 or $530.
What was the ARV you said?
So the ARV I had, because of that one-off property that you said was a portfolio, I did 1.13 ARV. That was wrong.
And where did you get the 1.13?
I was using like some price per square foot calculator.
Got it. Yeah. Stay away from price per square foot. Just on sold price. That's basically it. Agents do that, but we as investors don't. No buyers looking at price per square foot.
Essentially, what you're doing to find the ARV here is, so we're going back to essentially the main property. The main comp would be that first one, 1321, right? At 760.
That would be a flipped comp, and I can kind of like, we could justify a higher number maybe, but
so I couldn't go as high as 760.
No, you could. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So even at 760,
you were at 540. What was your rehab budget, you said?
That was another thing. I never really knew how to calculate rehab. So MAO calculator that I started using, I tried to stay away from it because I was just getting burned. So it tells me the MAO calculator that I was using it includes square footage of house, ARV price per square foot, and wholesale fee. And so, what is that, $18.93? Yep, it's still up. Okay. And then price per square foot, $586. And so that brought my ARV to 1.1, which meant that my rehab cost was 94K and some change. So my MAO was 737 and sell to an end buyer for 802. And you're probably like, what?
Well, so if I'm getting those numbers, right, my initial thought is, if that's true, this property is listed at 725. Why has it been sitting for 2 months?
Right.
Red flags, something's wrong here. Okay. A likelihood head's at 94 at this square footage is about $50 a square foot. What do you think it took to get this property to look like this?
Probably a little bit more than 94. I'd say 120, 125.
Yeah, if I'm using, and it's better to overshoot than undershoot, but at $80 a square foot, we're at 150 for the rehab.
Got it.
So at 150 with a purchase price of 540 and an ARV of 160, and I would imagine LA buyers this is my rehab estimator, you have a net profit of $4,000. And I would imagine, like I said, LA buyers are probably much closer to San Diego, and they want a 1-for-1 on their rehab. So I would want to see, if I'm putting 150 in, I want to see a net profit of 150, which means I need to be at like 390.
Wow. That's even lower than the Dispo guy was telling me.
Well, and your Dispo guy, did he talk to buyers? Has he talked to buyers about it?
About this property in particular, I doubt it.
Okay. Well, and it could have been adjusted. 80's pretty high. It could have been $60, $75 a square foot. 1893 times like $65 a square foot's 120. So we're not going to be too far off this number.
He probably went higher because what he quoted me was, let me go back.
What did he quote you?
I'm looking for it right now. It was in the 4s.
Okay. Yeah. 450, probably somewhere around there.
Yeah, I want to say it was around that number. 428.
That's where I'm at. So he's probably $60 a square foot, 760. He's probably adjusting the ARV a little bit as well, up a little bit, because that's a 500 square foot lower house. And then he's probably, I guess, at 450. Yeah, there's your 1-for-1. So maybe you're assigning for 10 or 20. If he pushed this at all, there's your 20K right there. What's that?
It's a lot. That's because my knowledge stops like right here. You're up here. My knowledge is like really right here. So I'm like, oh gosh.
Here's what you need to do. Okay, I'll give you the cheat code to being able to understand if it's a deal or not. You need to reach out to more buyers yourself. When you talk to buyers, all of this is all theory until a buyer says, I'm willing to put X amount and buy it for this amount. You're working on price per square foot, that's like normal for the region, but you don't really know. So if you're bringing it to a buyer, say, hey, look, I'm looking to assign deals to you. What's your price per square foot? What's your buy box? How do I bring a deal wrapped up on a silver platter to you that will be a good deal for you? Just tell me what I need to know. What percentage of ARV are you buying at? And what's your rehab costs? What's your price per square foot? Once you have those two and you get a good ARV, you're going to be dangerous. That's it. Okay. That's all you need to know. You need to make sure you have a good ARV, okay? And if it looks too good to be true, it probably is, so do more digging and have some conversation with buyers. You can do that through Privy in the way I showed you. You can find those buyers.
Clock's ticking. I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, go through my on-market offer system, and
I gotta find that. I'm gonna while you're here, I'm gonna find
like 4 or 5 properties, 4 or 5 videos. Okay, and then I promised you the last thing I was gonna do for you, unless you have any other questions.
No, I think I'm
gonna make a live call to renegotiate a price.
Hello, you reached voicemail of John Lula. Please leave a message or text me this number. Thanks.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, John, what's going on? It's Brad. Just wanted to discuss Lyle with you when you get a second. Give me a call back. Talk to you soon. Yeah. But basically, the conversation is going to go like this. Hey, John, what's going on? How's your day going? Sorry, I haven't been able to get a hold of you. We haven't actually gotten anybody out there, but we did push this out to people who have seen it before. Okay, so they're telling us like, okay, we're at like 150. We need to be at 115. They're either going to take it or not. He's going to say, yes, he's not going to take that. I'm like, yep, just put it in front of him. Let him know, what's going on. I'm really sorry about this. I hate having these conversations. Hopefully, we can still do deals together. Obviously, I want to be able to maintain this relationship. This isn't going to affect our relationship, is it, John?
I like that. I like that. This is an agent.
I got to call the agent. Yep. Yeah, this is an on-market deal. So.
Got it.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. I will definitely use that. I like that. This isn't going to affect our relationship, isn't, because I still want to continue to work together, but this is out of my hands.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's the lending partners. That's the buffers, the appeal to authority. Or, more accurately too, it could be like I have a network that is already and in network for other investors and contractors that have already seen this property. They brought up things that would increase the rehab budget, so I could be profitable at the number originally came at. Unfortunately, my rehab team, after doing that, my underwriter was looking at this. They're telling me I got to be at 120. Man, I'm sorry. Like I understand you guys don't want to go, but if you can put that to the seller, just let me know. We can move forward. We're confident at 115. But I understand if you guys need to back out. Like give him the out. So.
Yeah. How do you handle agents who just don't understand how to comp or how to properly find an ARV? Because that's something else I've been running into. It's like one of the agents for a property that I just had to terminate the contract on, she and I talked for like half an hour. She was like, I don't understand how you're not coming up with the number that we have. Like, this property holds its value. Tell me why it doesn't. And I did. And she was like, I've never been told that before. Okay, that's interesting. And I ran out of words to say because I was like, I hope I'm explaining this right.
Yeah, because agents are they call properties wildly different than investors. They're going to do price per square foot. And every property they sell is in a great area with a great school district and all this stuff. So, just explaining, here are the comps. This one sold, what they sold for. We don't go off the price per square foot. We go off of actual sold price. And then, go over the distinguishing features of each of those and how they compare, better or worse. This one's on a double yellow. This was, yes, it's next to a school, but a lot of people don't like to live next to school because this one's cul-de-sac, yours isn't, like all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like you want the agent on your side, but you can only do so much. So don't beat yourself up too much.
That's a possibility. Okay. I'll work on that. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I enjoyed talking to you, Anjuli. Thank you so much for going through the training videos. And if you guys are enjoying these and want to model our process, want to get the templates that we're using to comp our deals, doing the quick comps, doing a full deal analysis with the full deal analyzer, or you want to track your offers from the emails you sent out to those deals being accepted, click on the link below in the description labeled REI Made Easy on Market Privy templates. You guys get those, you can use them. It's the stuff I use in the videos and it's really helpful. So if you guys want to start getting deals, what are you waiting for? Click on the link below.